What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Undiagnosed Baddie. It is like my daily video journal. If this is your first time here, I'm also working my way up to 500 subscribers. And every 500 subscribers for the longevity of my YouTube career, I am going to do a giveaway. The first giveaway is a Insta 360 gimbal. It's like the first one. No USB-C charger, get your own. It's just a piece of equipment that I don't use. Why I'm doing that, right? So I could sell it or I could do a giveaway. And I love giveaways. I love free things. But one of the reasons why I wanted to give away is because I'm unemployed. And there are times where I would like the opportunity to receive something free and also to just give back. So that's why I am doing that. Like, what other way to show people that even when I don't have a traditional steady stream of income every 2 weeks or semi-monthly, that I am still in my heart of hearts wanting to give back and have other people really just pursue whatever they want to pursue, right? So I'm not really a fan of the gimbal. I buy quality shit. And so although I'm not a fan of the gimbal, I don't want to sell it. I think a giveaway is even better. It's an incentive for y'all to want to be here. And I think it just makes the channel fun. Now, it is Black History Month, and I want to get into a time. I want to tell a story about racism and me experiencing racism twice in these 10 minutes. So the first one I remember, I was specifically in third grade. I went to Hayfield Elementary. And if you are familiar with the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, that is in Fairfax County. It's technically titled like Alexandria, but it's the Fairfax County side of Alexandria. I went to Hayfield, and it was a big transition. Like, we moved from, my mom owned a home in Forestville, and she got married, got a man. We moved to Virginia, right? So whatever. And I'm at school, and my grades for this one class is just not good. Now, what was expected of me is to get A's and B's. It came easy. So when I had a bad grade in this particular, I don't know if it was science, what is it called? Social studies or something like that. We had social studies growing up. And we all had to like build this 3D sculpture of whatever and blah, 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 blah. So I had a bad grade in this lady's class, and I'm getting in trouble. Why do you have this grade? Why do you have this grade? I'm like, I don't know. I'm doing my work. Now, back then, schooling came so easy to me. Now, my mother drilled in my head back in the day. I'm 42, y'all. So back in the day, we didn't just open up our phone, tablet, laptop, whatever. We had to get the thesaurus, get the dictionary, get the encyclopedia, and actually read and research real time, like not 75,000 different answers coming up in like 13 seconds. You had to sit and read and do the things. So, great scholar, okay? Mind you, I graduated high school at 16. Big Bella fact, okay? Anyway, I'm like, I don't know. They're like, well, we're going to do a parent-teacher conference. Do it. Like, I don't know why my grade is what my grade is. I'm doing the same work as everybody else. And so they get my mom and my stepfather get to the school, and they're going through my work. They're like, okay, like they're going through they're combing through every assignment. I wish I had some paperwork here to show you. So they pull it out, and they're like, well, where's your key? Okay, so they're looking at it, and they're seeing very minor things where like I might have wrote a sentence and not put a period. So then they was like, I understand that. Can we see some of the other kids' work? And so like at this, in parent-teacher conference, it's the one-on-one. So it's not like a quote unquote HIPAA violation or whatever. And they're like, well, this child's work is their T is not capitalized. So what's the difference between their T not being capitalized and her missing a period? Because to me, it's still grammatically incorrect. So if you're going to give her off for that, you're going to give this child off for that. Or you could just change her grade and give her her points, because there's no reason why you're taking away points for her stuff and not for these other children. Now, on paper, you can't tell what color any other child is. However, they're going across the board. Let us see what the other kids are doing so we could see what's going on here. And then there was this project. This bitch failed me on a project, y'all. And they're like, why would you fail her? I think it was like we had to build a volcano and then like paint what would be the animals and geographical, like, so if trees were on the side of the volcano because of X, Y, and Z, or if it was in this part of the world, what animals would be in this part of the world, and the terrain. And it was just something to do in the classroom. And mine looked like everybody else's. And they were like, you're not going to fail our child. You're not going to fail our child when her stuff looks like everybody else's. Matter of fact, we're going to take it above you if you don't do X, Y, and Z, and we don't want no more bullshit from you, basically. And I remember them two standing up for me because this white race, I wish I could remember her name because I would say it. I remember them. I was getting in trouble because this bitch was nitpicking with me. And if you know anything about Alexandria back in the day, even towards now, they're probably wondering how this little black girl is living in Hayfield, because it was a predominantly white area at that time. And how is this little black girl coming to the school, and her parents ain't gonna stick up for her? She a little nigger child. Don't nobody give a fuck. I'm a failed little bitch. And that's what it was giving. But when both my parents stepped up in that bitch face and was like, yeah, nah, you on some nut shit, there was no more problems out of her. Third grade is the one I vividly remember because I was getting in trouble behind this lady. Now, I won't say that like I didn't have a white teacher here and there because I was in private school, but I definitely remember her being my first vivid fucking racist moment. The second one that I remember because I remember his name, and it was because of it, not that I remember, that was impactful in my life. Words mean things. The one that impacted my fucking life. At this point, I had stopped working for, what was I got this job through a temp agency or whatever, and I was the admin desk for the International Sign Association in Alexandria, Virginia. I'm saying all of this because I listen, baby, I'm putting this out there. I don't care. I remember. I still have documents. This is no slander. This is not alleged. This is my life. And what I remember working for the International Sign Association, I was black at the front desk. I'm trying to tell this story in the entire time. We had trade shows. Every other year it would be Orlando or Vegas. And we did a trade show in Vegas, I remember. And what wound up happening is, like, I wasn't necessarily given clear directions on what to do. However, I still showed up to the booth. I stayed at the booth. I did what I was told for the trade show. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what I was doing. I remember his name was Jonathan Kaupanger, Kaupanger. That's how I know that shit was impactful. And what he did was he blew up at me. Now, I was young during this time, early 20s, if even 21 at this point. And he made he blew up at me in front of other people, like, you're not where you're supposed to be. What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, well, I was in our booth. Like, we threw the trade show. So I was like, you can ask, I don't know, I guess the girl's name was Allison or some shit. Like, you can ask Allison. I was there with her. I'm asking people what they need me to do. They're saying they don't need me to do anything. I'm sitting there. I sat there. I feel like I'm not doing anything. And so when people were like, oh, we're about to pack up, what do you need me to do? I did all of the things. Long story short, because I'm running out of time, Jonathan, when we got back to Alexandria, Virginia, because it used to be on North St. Asaph. It's not there anymore. He called me into his office and was like, hey, so I'm going to need you to sign these papers. And this is just you resigning, because if you don't sign these papers, you're going to be fired, and that's going to go on your employment record. And if anybody calls and asks for anything, then I'm just going to say that you were fired and you were not a good worker and all this. Like, I was forced to sign these resignation papers. and get fired. But whole time he was having the other agency call, like the agency called to replace me. It was crazy. I remember his white racist as he's gay. And that has nothing to do